Alright, YouTubers, what's going on? So here we are in the Nitro Barn, and we're going to do a little update, a little after run talk here. So I told y'all I was going to pull the Techno apart and clean it, and I did that. We cleaned it real good, took all the electronics out, and I oiled up all the bearings with my Boca Speed bearing. Anytime I wash my whip, I use Simple Green. Bam. I do 50-50 on the mixture. First I blow everything off with my compressor. I pull all my electronics off, pull my wheels off. Go ahead and spray it down after I've blown it off, and then I just wash the whole thing off. And then once I get done, I'll use the compressor again, and I'll try and disperse as much of the moisture as I can. And then after that, I'll hit the bearings, hit all the areas where bearings are with my MP metal protector, and then I'll disperse it again with the compressor. And then I use this. I give each bearing a shot of high-speed oil. It's lightning lube from Boca Bearings. It's got a little needle here so you can get up under the shield and let that get in there real good. Sometimes I'll use this mixture, which is a little bit of MP, 3-in-1, and Boca Bearing, and a little bit of 10W40, just a tiny bit of 10W40 regular motor oil. So here's my electronics. So I love about the Techno, 4 or 5, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws, and the whole radio tray comes out. There's that CNC aluminum servo horn. It was a double, and I just ground it off and polished it until I can buy one. Worked just fine. So on the normal, on the stock plastic one, this goes underneath, but it's too thick, it hits the box, so I go on top, and it's up just a tiny bit, not much, not any to make a difference. So anyway, I lube everything up, get all my bearings lubed up so nothing rust. I've taken this apart twice in my diffs, and I've never had any rust whatsoever. Now of course you want to take your engine out, all your electronics, everything that can be corrosive or moisture will damage it. And then I pretty much spray the whole thing down with MP, disperse it again with the compressor, and then hit it with PB Blaster. This is what I use right here, PB Blaster silicone spray. Then if it's a really sunny day, like the sun was going down, so I went ahead, I kept it in the sun for a little bit, but I'll bring it in here, and first I'll cock it at an angle like this, let it dry where everything runs down, and then I'll turn it on its side. I'll do each side, and then I'll hit it again with the compressor here in a little bit, and then I'll wipe it down. I've never had any issues with corrosion in my bearings, so, or my screws. You look at every one of my screws, they're fine. You just have to get to it with MP or some kind of moisture displacer, WD-40, something like that, immediately. But hit it with the compressor first, disperse the water, you know, the big water, the beads, and then hit it with MP or WD-40. Spray a little alcohol in your tank, get it all clean, blow out your lines. And I went ahead and rebuilt this clutch. I'm going to put a 13 bell back on it. Here's those different size bearings again, 5x13 and then 5x11 on the outside. So I went ahead and went with the TLR lightened aluminum clutch and flywheel combo with a 4-shoe clutch, and these are Kyosho aluminum 4-shoe clutch shoes. I used them on one run on another platform, on the Hyper. I mean, not the Hyper, I'm sorry, on the 8T. So it has a tiny bit of wear, but it was just one run. And then I swapped them out for Max Life. So go ahead and see what these Kyosho aluminum springs do. And as you, I don't know if you can see, I've got 2 green and 2 silver on my springs. So, and I did clean my bell out. I used a little alcohol, and just keep wiping and wiping and wiping until you get all the black stuff out. And that's it. See how many shims that you need. This one I've got 4 shims, 4 small shims. Brand new bearings, brand new clutch shoes, smooth as butter. And then I just put a dab of blue Loctite on the end so it won't come off. And then test it. I already tested this one, so I know that it fits. And there we go, people. Brand new clutch. Now you don't want a lot of play, but you want just a little bit of play, because those bearings, this is maybe even is a little too much. Your bearings are going to expand when they get hot, so you don't want everything tightening up. Probably put one more shim on there. Do it now before the Loctite dries. Be careful when you pull this back off, because your shims may come off with it. Shim City over here, people. Go with one more. So that's 5 shims. You don't want to shim it too high to where your clutch shoes are not engaging. I mean, where your clutch shoes, you don't want your bell, you don't want to see your clutch shoes. This is almost too much. Right on the edge, but it'll be okay. If you do that and you can see your clutch shoe, then you're going to wear a groove in your aluminum clutch shoe. There we go, guys, just a tad. You don't want to have any binding anywhere. You want it to spin smooth. And you'll notice, you really can't probably see it too much, but there's a black mark right here on the wheel itself, but more importantly on the inside, because your starter box wheel will rub the black off of here. So mark it here as well for your bottom dead center. That way you can always see where your bottom dead center is. I also, you can see right here, I've got a little bit of black silicone. I'll always put a dab of black silicone around my my throttle body screw right there, the pinch bolt, so we don't get any air leakage. You've got rubber O-rings in there, but it doesn't hurt to put a little bit of black silicone. I know a few other guys that do that as well. I think Raja does this as well. So there we go, guys. Ready to go. This is going to go back into the Techno. Alright, so let's see what else we got going on here. Always mark your flywheel, people, so you know what's up. Alright, guys, we have a few minutes. So I wanted to show y'all on this this Techno clutch bell. I mean, not clutch bell, the flywheel. I was running 2 aluminum shoes and 2 composite shoes. So what we're going to do on this is we're going to put 4 Max-Lite shoes, and it's going to be a backup clutch for either one of my my truggies, my 8T or my Techno. So we're going to use 2 green and 2 silver, just like on this one, 2 green, 2 silver, and 4 Max Life shoes. So what I did is I stripped one of these pins, so I had to get it out. So, and I broke my Dremel in the process. I have to get another Dremel. So basically what you do if you strip something out, one of these pins, is get you a Dremel and you cut a slit in the top of the screw. I don't use Loctite on these because it makes it even harder to get out, because they're under you know, they're under pressure with the spring and everything. So I don't use Loctite on these. But just cut it. Make sure you don't cut into the aluminum flywheel, the clutch. But you need a good cut so you can get it with the screwdriver. I've already done that. And then you just take a good screwdriver and break it loose. And you can get it out. So there's no reason to discard or trash a good clutch when you can get that screw out. It just takes a little bit, and be careful. I usually use a little bit smaller screwdriver, but it'll work. I had to find a reason to use some of my new Kyosho drivers. And then you can buy these pins. I know Losi is a common one. You can buy just the pin set, and it comes with either 2 or 4 shims, the pins, and then also comes with this screw for the end of your clutch bell. It's got a little plastic divot and a washer, so you're not having to worry too much about having to shim the outside. It fits right down in there. One other thing on these pins, guys, is when you're installing them, when you're building a clutch shoe, it's a good idea to just kind of shave down to a point on these pins. It'll make it a lot easier. Just if you have a grinder or a sander or something you can use, even sandpaper, just point it up. Make a point on the end. It'll make it a lot easier trying to get this into the hole. It's got to go through the clutch shoe, the spring, down into the hole, and then the screws will thread. The screws thread here, not down here. So if you can sharpen this to a little bit of a point, it's going to make your life a lot easier, people. Alright, so we're going to rebuild this clutch as well. The clutch that's going into the 8T is going to be the Losi clutch with a this is a 14 tooth bell. So we're going to be putting a 14 tooth bell with the Losi clutch, 2 green springs, 2 silver springs, and 4 Max Life shoes. And then we'll do the same with this one. This is a lightened aluminum flywheel, and this is the steel flywheel that came with my Techno. Alright guys, so by Monday I'll have the spur gear for the 8T, and we can finish up the center diff, and that should be it. Talking about in the earlier video, the I'm going to buy some more servos, some high voltage servos. I'm going to buy 2 more of the Savox Blacks for the 8T. But this LiPo 7.4 2100 milliamp will fit just barely in the 8T. It's a little bit smaller than the, it's tight. It's a tight fit. So if you're going to put some foam in the bottom, you really want to put foam in the bottom here, you need it to be as thin as possible. Or what I sometimes do is I'll take foam like this, and then I'll cut a hole in the middle so the battery rests down in there, yet still being protected. So it will fit. but the Reedy will not fit whatsoever. It's a lot bigger, man. Not even close. Look at that. Alright, folks. So we'll keep the Reedy for the Hyper and the Techno. They fit no problem. Charging up my LiPos. This High-Tech Pro right here is an awesome charger. 89 bucks right here. Worth every penny. And I've got my X1 Mini. He's never given me any trouble. So I recommend this high-tech charger. For the price, you're able to charge any LiPo, nickel metal hydrate, Lifey. You can even charge your glow plug igniters on there. Those battery chargers that come with these, throw them away. Get you a good charger. That way you don't overcharge these things. You keep overcharging them, they're not going to last very long. Alright guys, so I did take apart, I took the head and the sleeve and the piston out of the Novarossi. I didn't get a chance to video it because I wanted to get that running video in. Everything looked good. I got it all back together. The new Huddy flathead, 20 bucks for this. Worked badass to get these screws out. They're all flathead screws in this Novarossi. So awesome. That's something else that I recommend, guys. If you have any Novas, even if you don't have any Novas, anything that requires a flathead, that Huddy driver is awesome. But it's more expensive than the MIPs. And then this driver is badass too. This is my low C tuning driver. I love this thing. Don't know how I went without it for so long. Alright guys, I think that's about it. I cleaned my tires. Had one, the glue had come off, so I had to re-glue it. I cleaned them, got them soaking in some silicone. And we'll work on getting the Techno back together. Other than that, guys, I think that's going to be it. I'm going to have to get me another Dremel. I mean, I could put it back together, but what happened is the little spring-loaded pieces came out of the end. I've had this Dremel forever and have put it through hell. So, check it out. I also got this, customer gave me this, all zip ties, man, different colors and everything. So that was pretty cool. Shout out to that customer. Alright guys, I think that's going to be about it. Just a little update video. But by the way, today I was running my Bones Brew right here. Bones Brew, 30% nitro. And I got to get the cap out of my car. 30% nitro, 10% castor. And if you get the Bones Brew, it's cheaper than the Byron's, and I think it's just as good. But for $6 you can get this spout that screws right onto the top of the Bones Brew container. So, and it is a VP product just with synthetic castor. Alright guys, we're about to run out of time in this video. So we'll get the Techno put back together, and as soon as the AT's ready, we'll get it ripping. I got the OS VZB, everything ready to go in the Hyper. I could have took that with me today to the field, but I only like trying to clean up one. That's a chore in itself, man. It takes me about 2 hours to properly clean my truck after I run it. Especially out there in that field, man. You can see the grass all over my floor and everything. But the Hyper's ready to go with the OZB. I'm going to run out of time, people. So as soon as the parts get in to finish all this up, we'll get it done. But until then, you guys have a good day tomorrow at work. Have a good weekend coming up. And remember, treat people the way you want to be treated. See y'all later.